Let's welcome now political strategist and commentator Rina Shah, former senior congressional aide. So much to get to here, Rina. We really appreciate you joining us. First, let's touch on this surprise visit by Hunter Biden. What do you make of him appearing?
I think it's a good thing he appeared. In fact, if he hadn't appeared, it would make it seem like he's dodging something. This kind of goes in line with what he said. He wants to appear publicly. He wants to answer questions publicly. It makes him look willing and, again, unafraid to confront these members who sit on that dais. But again, this is a situation in which they want to hold him in contempt for not coming and doing a private deposition. Under the letter of the law, they can make that recommendation to the Department of Justice. Will the Department of Justice see it the way that Republican members of this committee do? I'm not so sure. Will it make it to the floor and be successful? I'm also not so sure. So to me, this is a bit of a futile exercise.
So I wanted to actually get your take on that. You preemptively answered the question, which is excellent. But one argument coming from the Democrats is that this move is ridiculous. Evan outlined this to hold him in contempt because he said he will testify, but he wants those cameras rolling. However, Republicans say Hunter Biden doesn't get to choose the forum considering the position he's in. In your view, Rina, who has the stronger argument here, and how do you see that impacting how this hearing moves forward?
Well, I will say I'm a creature of the House. I made my career there serving two members of the House on the Republican side, and it was when Democrats were in control. So I can see all sides here. Look, I think both sides look really weak. The Republican members that want to show their electorate that they're doing something. And then also Hunter Biden on the side that, like, come on, man. Your guy is your dad, and your dad is a president of the United States. So you're putting him in a bad situation, too. So again, a weekend played by Hunter Biden here, a weekend played by the Republican members. And I'm one for accountability. I love the institution of Congress. So on the one hand, I see that this is a good thing. This is something that needs to happen. We cannot let people slide by. And there is, again, laws on the books. Let's not forget, if somebody has done something that is deemed to be wrong, then they should be held accountable. But one big thing here I see, Kelly, it's just that there is not a smoking gun. There's been House members who've come out and breathlessly exclaimed there's so much corruption, but where is the evidence? They've had months and weeks now to let it even leak into the public sphere. We have not seen exactly what the crimes committed by Hunter Biden were. And the question, if we did see that evidence, Kelly, would be, what did the president know and when did he know it? We're not even at a stage where we can ask that question because we just don't know what we're dealing with. What is Hunter Biden being accused of even here?
What do you think the likelihood is, Rina, that Hunter Biden may provide any testimony to that effect in closed-door meetings at any point in the future?
Kelly, it's an election year, so the fangs are out, of course, from Republicans because they want to take back the White House. But Hunter Biden's role in all this as a private citizen, as somebody who's never worked in the administration, as somebody who's actually never worked in public life at any point in which his father was serving, I think this puts Republicans also in an even weaker spot because then they have to keep pressing on his private business dealings. And he's come out and publicly said he's done business with a Chinese businessman. The board seat with Burisma. I mean, we can talk about and dissect his business dealings and tie them back to something that is in the universe of his parents. But that something there has to be a there in order for it to look, smell, and be corruption. And I'm just not convinced that these Republican members on this committee have even got as close to making that case. So right now, it's a lot of political theater.
Well, it certainly seems to be a lot of political theater, as you mentioned, at the moment. However, there have been many who have said there is so much smoke, but we just can't seem to get to the heart of these issues. We can't seem to get direct answers to these questions from Hunter Biden that could very well implicate the president in some of these business dealings. So what do you say to Americans who have real concerns about the attitudes of the president toward countries that are, dangerous to the U.S., quite frankly, and, how he's governing right now with so many conflicts happening around the world? What would you say to the electorate? And do you think what's happening right now, will their concerns ever be satiated by political measures like this?
You just interrupted a woman.
And that's the thing. We this era of revenge politics. And that's what I have a hard time squaring up whenever I try to make the case to Americans who are largely disconnected from what's happening on Capitol Hill. I say to them that these committees exist to do these investigations. It's civics 101, right? We need one branch checking the other. So it's a good thing. But the futility of this exercise really is in the fact that they won't even go through with the public hearing that Hunter Biden is saying he will sit through. Republicans, if I were advising them right now, and I'm not advising anybody on this committee, I would just say, look, take him in that public forum. Ask him every hard question. We have opened the door after Trump came to office of an era of bluntness, of an era in which we talk very plainly and directly to the American people. And transparency is key in all that. And so right now, what I see Republicans doing is shooting themselves in the foot. Let the man come before the committee, answer the questions publicly. Don't just go through this contempt resolution that really doesn't hold much weight. And let this come to light on its own. That's the only thing that can be said here. Justice takes time, and everything comes to the truth comes out under the sun. But right now, there's not sunlight on Capitol Hill.
Well, I think we can all get behind that. Let's listen in quickly to the hearing now. It is getting a bit heated. We hope you can stick around for some analysis afterward.
Are legitimate, and yet he refused to comply.